93% of people who make a budget quit within 30 days. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they don't care about money. The budget itself is built to fail. And in the next 9 minutes, you'll know exactly why and exactly what to do instead. By the end of this video, you'll have a way to manage your money that doesn't depend on willpower. It works even if you've tried and failed at budgeting before, more than once, more than twice. And near the end, I'll show you the one shift that separates people who stick with their budget for years from everyone else. Most people never hear this part, and it's the reason the other steps actually work. Right now, prices are higher than they were 3 years ago, but for most people, income hasn't caught up at the same speed. That gap is exactly why budgeting matters more now than it did a decade ago. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, or close to it, you don't have room for a system that falls apart after 2 weeks. You need something that survives real life, bad weeks, unexpected bills, the months where everything seems to cost more than it should. So let's build that, starting right now. Here's the first thing nobody tells you. The word budget is part of the problem. Think about it. When you hear the word diet, what's the first thing you want to do? Eat the thing you're not allowed to have. Budgets work the same way. The moment you tell your brain, you can't spend on this, you create pressure. And pressure breaks. That's why the average person lasts about 18 days on a restrictive budget before one bad day, a stressful shift at work, a rough breakup, a birthday, wrecks the whole plan. Picture someone named Jake. Jake downloads a budgeting app on January 1st, feeling motivated. By January 19th, he misses one entry, feels behind, and stops opening the app completely. That's not a Jake problem. That happens to almost everyone who tries this approach. Then comes the guilt. And guilt is the real killer, because most people don't go back to budgeting after one failure. They just quit completely, sometimes for years. So if your last budget didn't work, that's not a character flaw. That's a design flaw. And the fix isn't more discipline. It's a different structure entirely. But before we get to that structure, there's a step almost everyone skips completely. Here's what almost nobody does before they build a budget. They track first, not for a week, for 30 days. Every coffee, every subscription, every $5 impulse buy. Why does this matter so much? Because most people are wrong about their own spending by 20 to 30%. You think you spend $200 a month on food outside the house. The real number is often closer to 320. Or take subscriptions. The average person has at least one they forgot they're paying for, sometimes two or three, quietly draining $15, $20, $30 a month for something they haven't used in half a year. You can't fix a number you don't actually know. So for the next month, before you cut anything, just watch, use your banking app, or write it in your phone. Doesn't matter which. What matters is seeing the real pattern, not the pattern you assume is true. Once you have that data, something interesting happens. You stop guessing and start seeing exactly where your money leaks out. And that leads to the next problem. Because once you see the leaks, most people patch them the wrong way. Here's a structure that actually holds up, even when life gets messy. It's called the 50-30-20 rule, and here's exactly how it works. 50% of your income goes to needs: rent, groceries, utilities, minimum debt payments. 30% goes to wants: eating out, entertainment, anything that's not essential but makes life enjoyable. And 20% goes to savings and extra debt payoff. Let's make this real. Say you take home $2,500 a month. That's $250 for needs, $750 for wants, and $500 for savings and debt. If your income changes month to month, say you're on commission, or you freelance, apply the same percentages to whatever comes in, even if it's different every time. The ratio stays the same, even when the number moving through it doesn't. Notice what's different here. This isn't a system built on restriction. You're not told to cut out coffee or cancel every subscription. You're told exactly how much room you have to spend on things you enjoy, guilt-free, inside that 30%. That's why this structure survives longer than strict budgets. It plans for the fact that you're human. But even this system fails if you rely on willpower to follow it every single day. So here's the part that actually makes it stick. This is the piece almost every beginner misses. You don't budget by watching your spending in real time. You budget by removing the decision entirely. Here's what that looks like. The day your paycheck hits your account, before you spend on anything, you automatically move your savings, that 20%, into a separate account. Not a mental note, not a promise to yourself. An actual automatic transfer set up once that happens without you touching it. Why does this work so much better? Because willpower is a limited resource. Studies on decision fatigue show that the more choices you make in a day, the worse your later choices get. If you have to consciously choose to save money every single day, you will lose that fight eventually. Not because you're weak, but because everyone does. But if the money moves before you ever see it, there's no decision left to make. It's already done. This is exactly how people who are good with money actually behave. It's not that they want to spend less than you, it's that they never see the money they're not supposed to spend. And once this is automated, your entire relationship with money changes, because now the system is running even on your worst days, your busiest weeks, the months you don't think about your finances at all. Now, what if you run the numbers and the 20% doesn't fit? This happens to a lot of people, and it doesn't mean the system is broken. It means the percentages are a target, not a rule carved in stone. If you can only automate 5% right now, automate 5%. The habit matters more than the number in the first few months. Then, every time your income goes up, a raise, a new job, a side hustle, increase that automatic transfer before your spending has a chance to grow with it. That single habit, catching every raise before your lifestyle catches it, is one of the biggest differences between people who build real wealth over 10 years and people who earn more every year but somehow still feel broke. It's not about the size of your income, it's about the size of the gap between what you earn and what you automatically save. So here's the full method, put together. Step 1. Track everything for 30 days before you change anything. Step 2. Apply the 50-30-20 split to your real numbers, not the numbers you think are true. Step 3. Automate whatever percentage you can, even if it's small at first, so it moves the day you get paid, before you can touch it. Step 4. Raise that automated amount every single time your income goes up. That's the entire system. No spreadsheets you have to update every night. No app you have to check 5 times a day. No willpower required after the first setup. And here's the part most people never hear. The goal isn't to control every dollar. The goal is to make good decisions automatic, so bad days can't undo months of progress. That's the actual difference between the 93% who quit and the people who are still budgeting 5 years later. It was never about being more disciplined than everyone else. It was about building a system so simple that discipline stopped being necessary. Remember that number from the start of this video? 93% of people quit their budget within 30 days. You now know exactly why. And more importantly, you know the 4-step fix that removes the reason people fail in the first place. Set it up once, let it run, and in 3 months, check back and see how different things look. If this helped you, like, subscribe, and share this video for more content like this one. Next time, I'm breaking down the exact number you need to save before you can safely quit a job you hate. And it's probably a lot lower than you think.